My heir, William, now assumes the Scottish titles, which have meant so much to me. He succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall.
Royal watchers around the globe are in complete disbelief. In a move that has sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace and beyond, King Charles has made a somber and deeply personal announcement, one that could change the course of the British monarchy forever. As Prince William increasingly steps into the spotlight, showcasing leadership, strength, and charisma, his father, the reigning monarch, has chosen to step back in a way no one saw coming. This isn't just a passing of duties. This is seismic. What we're witnessing isn't merely the evolution of the monarchy, it's the groundwork for a whole new reign. And while some hail it as a new dawn, others are calling it a quiet abdication cloaked in carefully chosen words. For royal fans, this development is both exhilarating and heartbreaking. The torch appears to be passing faster than expected, and the implications are monumental. What led to this moment? Why now? And what does this mean for the future of the crown? Let's break it all down. The sudden surge of Prince William. The sudden surge of Prince William onto center stage has been impossible to ignore. What once appeared as a subtle increase in responsibilities has now morphed into a full-fledged royal revolution. From high-profile international summits to deeply personal outreach events within the UK, Prince William has emerged as not just a figurehead, but a proactive force within the monarchy. His presence has been felt in every corner of the Commonwealth. William's speeches, whether addressing world leaders about climate policy or consoling communities rocked by tragedy, carry a level of emotional intelligence and conviction that resonates with a wide audience. These are not mere ceremonial appearances. They are calculated moves that signal a shift in royal priorities and style. Behind the scenes, aides and palace staff have reportedly been recalibrating schedules and commitments to center William in more strategic roles. Public perception surveys show a noticeable uptick in his popularity, especially among younger generations who view him as a modern, relatable figure. Someone capable of navigating both royal tradition and contemporary challenges with ease. His image has been carefully refined too. Gone are the days when Prince William was seen as simply next in line. Now he is portrayed as a leader in his own right, taking initiatives, commanding respect, and moving through royal engagements with a gravitas typically reserved for reigning monarchs. Some sources even suggest that this transition may be more than symbolic. With King Charles facing health concerns and mounting public scrutiny, William's increasing prominence could be laying the groundwork for a more significant role sooner than anyone expected. What's clear is that Prince William is no longer just preparing for the crown. He's actively reshaping what it means to wear it. King Charles' quiet withdrawal. As Prince William's star began to rise, King Charles's presence started to fade into the background. What began as a few missed engagements soon became a pattern. Appearances once considered routine were either rescheduled, handled by senior royals like William and Queen Camila, or quietly removed from the calendar altogether. The palace, known for its precision and ceremony, offered little in the way of explanation. Only brief mentions of the king's continued recovery and need for rest. Rumors swirled within royal circles and the press alike. Was Charles struggling more than the public was led to believe? Was this a calculated handover or a reluctant step back due to necessity? Questions grew louder until Buckingham Palace broke its silence with a statement that, though measured and regal, carried a weight rarely seen in royal communications. King Charles confirmed his health had worsened and that he had begun the process of delegating essential duties to his eldest son. The language was dignified, but the meaning was crystal clear. Charles was still king, but he was no longer the driving force behind the monarchy's day-to-day face to the world. The nation was left with a new reality, one that had arrived sooner than many expected. William, long prepared for this eventuality, now stood at the helm in all but name. The king's retreat wasn't dramatic, but it was deeply symbolic. It signaled the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, not with trumpets, but with the solemn acknowledgement of time's unyielding advance. Charles's quiet withdrawal, whether temporary or permanent, marked a poignant moment in royal history. For the first time in modern memory, a reigning monarch stepped back with grace, handing the reins to the future while still watching from the shadows. The health struggles. King Charles' health struggles, once carefully hidden behind royal protocol and polished appearances, eventually reached a point where concealment was no longer possible. Those within palace walls had long known the truth. The monarch's condition was worsening, and his ability to fulfill the demands of the crown was steadily diminishing. What began as minor fatigue and slower than usual recoveries escalated into a series of medical interventions that required constant monitoring and discreet adjustments to his schedule. Sources within the royal household described how carefully orchestrated his appearances became. Events were trimmed down, travel minimized, and lighting subtly manipulated to soften the visible effects of exhaustion. Even his posture and movements were reportedly choreographed to avoid drawing attention to any physical decline. While the public saw a composed sovereign, those behind the scenes witnessed a man fighting to uphold a legacy as his strength waned. Charles was determined to maintain his role. He had waited a lifetime to wear the crown, and the symbolic weight of his reign, especially following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, was not something he took lightly. But there came a tipping point when even his willpower couldn't override the limitations imposed by his condition. Delegation, once used sparingly, became the norm. William was no longer just a stand-in for special occasions. He was becoming the monarchy's operational leader. Eventually, the palace had no choice but to confront the reality with the public. In a rare moment of vulnerability, King Charles acknowledged his health and the need for William to step forward more prominently. It was a sobering admission, one that struck a chord across the nation. In revealing his struggle, Charles offered something rare from a monarch: transparency. And in doing so, he made one of the most defining decisions of his reign: Camilla's behind-the-scene influence. Behind palace doors, Queen Camilla has played a far more pivotal role than many realize. As King Charles grappled with worsening health and the emotional weight of slowly relinquishing his duties, it was Camilla who quietly provided both the support and the guidance necessary to steer the monarchy through uncertain waters. Insiders close to the royal household suggest that Camilla was among the first to recognize that Charles could not sustain the pace expected of a reigning monarch. She watched as long-standing commitments began to take a visible toll. His energy waned, and the vibrant drive that once defined him dimmed under the strain of duty. Quietly but firmly, Camilla urged him to consider the long-term health of both himself and the institution he represented. But Camilla's influence didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, she worked to ensure that Prince William's gradual ascent would be met with minimal friction. Sources indicate she held private meetings with senior royals and key advisors to coordinate a smooth redistribution of responsibilities. Her efforts helped keep the family aligned during what could have been a period of internal discord. Her understanding of public perception, sharpened by years of being in the royal spotlight herself, allowed her to operate with a level of discretion and emotional intelligence that few could match. Camilla didn't just protect Charles, she preserved the integrity of the transition by fostering an environment of stability and calm. She remained deeply committed to her husband, never wavering in her support. But she also had the foresight to understand that the monarchy must adapt to survive. Encouraging Charles to step back wasn't an act of surrender. It was a strategic move, one made from love, loyalty, and a deep sense of duty to the crown. Prince William has long been viewed as the steady hand in the royal family, but his journey toward leadership has been marked by quiet reluctance. While loyal to the crown and deeply respectful of tradition, William has also yearned for a semblance of normalcy, a balance between royal obligation and personal identity. Yet with King Charles's health concerns and the public shift in responsibility, William's transformation from heir to de facto leader began in earnest. Those close to him say the change wasn't immediate, nor was it easy. Witnessing his father's vulnerability brought a wave of emotional reckoning. Private discussions about mortality, the future of the monarchy, and the responsibilities that lay ahead forced William to confront the reality he had long prepared for but never fully embraced. And still, he stepped up. His appearances took on a more intentional tone. Whether speaking at international forums or engaging with grieving communities, William exuded a maturity that struck a chord with the public. His speeches became more pointed, his demeanor more composed. There was a weight to his presence that hadn't been as pronounced before. He didn't just follow protocol, he started shaping it. Behind the scenes, William began establishing strategic relationships with global and domestic leaders, signaling a monarchy that was evolving to meet the demands of a changing world. His focus on modern issues like mental health, climate change, and technology positioned him as a forward-thinking leader. Despite his earlier reluctance, William never flinched when the moment came. Instead, he leaned in, fully, deliberately, and with the grace expected of a future king. What once seemed like a distant chapter in Britain's royal history began to unfold before the nation's eyes, not with dramatic flourish, but with a quiet strength that left no doubt. Prince William was ready. The impact on the three kids. As Prince William stepped further into the public eye, the ripples of change deeply affected his closest circle, most notably his wife, Kate Middleton, and their three children. The demands of an accelerating royal transition didn't just fall on William's shoulders. They extended into the home, placing new emotional and logistical burdens on a family already living under constant scrutiny. Kate, the Princess of Wales, has always exuded composure in public. Her calm demeanor and empathetic engagement with the public have made her one of the monarchy's most admired figures. But behind the scenes, she has been juggling an increasingly complex role. With William tasked with more high-profile duties, Kate has quietly filled the gaps, often stepping into solo appearances on short notice. Her schedule, once designed around supporting William and raising their children, has shifted toward a more autonomous public role. Sources close to the palace suggest that Kate's protective instincts have intensified. Shielding Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis from media intrusion has become a top priority. She's also taken steps to ensure a sense of normalcy at home, even as the outside world watches their every move. Privately, Kate is also preparing her children, especially Prince George, for a future where the monarchy's continuity may depend on their readiness. George, now second in line, is said to be receiving early instruction in constitutional history and the responsibilities of leadership. While his childhood remains a priority, subtle preparations have begun to shape him for what lies ahead. Kate has not only embraced her evolving duties but has done so with a sense of quiet purpose. She recognizes the historic weight of this moment, not just for William but for their entire family. Her strength, both as a mother and a future queen, is proving vital as the monarchy navigates its most delicate shift in decades. Public reaction. The British public's reaction to King Charles's announcement of stepping back from certain royal duties has been a mixture of profound sadness and cautious optimism. The sight of their monarch, once seen as a symbol of strength and continuity, grappling with his health struggles, was undeniably emotional for many. For a nation that has long revered the royal family as a pillar of tradition, the idea of a king slowly retreating from the throne sparked deep feelings of vulnerability. Social media platforms quickly became a space for the public to process these emotions. Hashtags like #ThankYouCharles and #LongLiveWilliam trended as a way to express both gratitude for the king's reign and support for the future king. There was an outpouring of appreciation for Charles, recognizing his years of service and dedication, but there was also a growing acceptance of the inevitable passing of the torch. Many saw the king's retreat not as a sign of weakness, but as a testament to his wisdom and his ability to recognize when the time had come for change. At the same time, there was a palpable sense of hope surrounding Prince William. Polls showed a surge in public confidence, with many viewing him as a strong, capable leader who represents a modernizing force within the monarchy. William's commitment to causes like mental health and climate change resonated with younger generations, who see him as someone who can balance royal duty with the pressing issues of the day. For many, William embodies the bridge between the storied past of the monarchy and the future challenges it will face. Yet, amid this optimism, there was also concern for Charles. His decision to step back highlighted the pressures and fragility that come with being born into royalty. It reminded the public that even kings are human, subject to the same vulnerabilities as anyone else. The moment, they say, is not just about the monarchy's future. It's a reflection of the delicate balance between duty, family, and the passage of time. Behind the palace doors, behind the glittering facade of the British monarchy, whispers from within the palace suggest a more complex and divided reality as the royal transition unfolds. While the public watches in awe, not everyone within the royal family is fully on board with the speed and nature of King Charles's decision to step back. Some senior royals have reportedly expressed concern over how quickly the reins are being passed to Prince William. There is a growing sense of unease that sidelining Charles too early might spark confusion over constitutional protocol, or even risk destabilizing public opinion about the monarchy's continuity. More concerning, however, is the simmering tension between the royal brothers, William and Harry. Despite being physically distanced by geography and circumstance, Harry's emotional ties to the monarchy remain as complex as ever. While he was reportedly informed about his father's decision, sources suggest that communication between the brothers is strained. William, now deeply embedded in his role as future king, is laser-focused on his responsibilities and the future of the crown. In contrast, Harry has taken a more independent path, establishing his own legacy in America while still grappling with his place within the family dynamic. Talk of reconciliation, while not entirely absent, appears limited. The relationship between the brothers has been fractured by years of public tension and personal differences, and many observers doubt whether the royal family will ever be fully united as they once were. Behind the palace doors, the fractures within the family may be even more pronounced than what is visible to the public. The facade of unity that the family has maintained for decades seems increasingly fragile, as different members of the royal circle navigate their own priorities and ambitions. Nevertheless, the monarchy moves forward, and for now all eyes remain on Prince William. He has been thrust into a leadership role sooner than expected, and the public's gaze is firmly fixed on how he will navigate not only his duties, but also the delicate balance of family dynamics that are shifting beneath the surface. The Queen's shadow, Elizabeth's legacy, looms large. Every move made in this royal reshuffling is being silently measured against the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. Her reign, spanning over 70 years, set a gold standard of duty, discretion, and longevity. Comparisons are inevitable and daunting. Charles's health struggles and William's ascension are being viewed through the lens of her enduring legacy. People wonder, would Elizabeth approve of this transition? Would she have supported such a swift shift of power? Royal historians suggest that while the late Queen valued tradition, she also understood the need for adaptation. And in that sense, Charles's decision to step back, though painful, might align with the very values Elizabeth held dear. Her portrait still looms in every royal hall. Her memory remains etched in the hearts of millions, and her legacy is the silent standard that William must now uphold. A new chapter for the monarchy. This isn't the end, but it might just be the beginning of something monumental. With King Charles stepping back and Prince William stepping up, Britain is entering a new royal chapter, one marked by unexpected vulnerability, generational shift, and quiet resilience. Whether Charles eventually formally abdicates or continues his role in a diminished capacity, the symbolism is unmistakable. The future is already unfolding, and it wears the face of a younger, more modern king-in-waiting. Prince William, once a boy haunted by his mother's legacy and burdened by royal expectation, is now stepping into the role that history has reserved for him. The eyes of the world are watching, not with scorn or skepticism, but with cautious optimism. The crown hasn't been passed yet, but it's already casting its light on a new heir. And with every public step William takes, it becomes clearer. The monarchy is evolving before our very eyes. As Britain watches the royal landscape shift beneath its feet, one thing is clear: nothing will ever be the same again. King Charles's solemn announcement has marked a turning point, a moment that will be remembered in history books, in documentaries, and in the hearts of a nation. This isn't just about age, health, or duty. It's about legacy. It's about preparing a kingdom for a new era while honoring the sacrifices of the past. And while sadness lingers in the air, so does something else: hope. Prince William may not yet wear the crown, but he's already carrying the weight of it. And with each step he takes, with each speech he gives, he proves that he might just be the leader the modern world needs. So what happens next? Will Charles officially step down? Will William's rise bring unity or conflict? One thing's for sure: the monarchy is changing, and we're all here to witness the rise of a new king, not by coronation, but by quiet, powerful transformation. Stay tuned. History is unfolding.